Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or evening, wherever you are. My name is Morgan Garland. I am the Operations Manager with WiCyS. Thank you so much for joining us for today's WiCyS webinar featuring Fortinet. Today we have Paula with us, who is going to be leading the presentation. Before we get started, though, I want to go ahead and just give a quick introduction to the WiCyS organization for those of you who are not familiar with us. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. So WiCyS, we often go by our acronym, which is WiCyS. It's pronounced as We Sisters because we are a global cybersecurity sisterhood. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a global reach dedicated to bringing together women in cybersecurity from academia, research, and industry to share knowledge, experience, networking, and mentoring. We have a community of over 9,900 members. We have 70 professional affiliates, over 270 student chapters, and we offer a variety of different initiatives for all of our members. We have skills development training programs that launch throughout the year. Members receive access to our online member community portal. We have our mentor-mentee program, our leadership series, and so much more. All of our initiatives are made possible by our strategic partners. Our Tier 1 partners being Akamai, Amazon, Level Blue, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon University Software Engineering Institute, Cisco, Ford, Google, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Optum, Centennial National Labs, and SentinelOne. And just a reminder, ask questions today. There's a little question box. You can drop your questions in. We will get to the questions at the end of the presentation, but you can go ahead and drop them in, at any point in time, and we'll get to those at the end. And then lastly, if you haven't already subscribed to the WiCyS newsletter, please go ahead and do so you can stay up to date on all of our future and upcoming programs and initiatives. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Paula to introduce herself and to get started with today's presentation.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen then. Okay.
Perfect.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, looks perfect.
Okay. So welcome everyone to Breaking Barriers, my journey to cybersecurity training and empowering teams in the SOC webinar. Thank you for joining. Today we will be diving into the realm of cybersecurity and the Security Operations Center, the nerve center where vigilance meets technology. My name is Paula. I've been working as a technical trainer at Fortinet for 3 years. I'm based in Sofia in the south of France, and I'm thrilled to share my journey with you. But before we begin, it's really nice to meet you all, and I would love to know where you are from. If you don't mind, could you please scan following QR code and share your location? So let me just start the Menti. So normally you just have to scan the QR code and then enter your location. If I don't see anything, maybe it's not working, so I will just move on in a few seconds. Okay, so I can just, okay. Welcome, Mexico City. Wow, wonderful. Thank you so much for playing the game. It's really nice to see where you're from. Beautiful. Thank you. So this webinar session has a twofold purpose. First, share my personal and professional journey to cybersecurity, show that with passion, motivation, and mentoring, everything is actually possible. And second, I will present you one of my achievements. I will provide you with an overview through a lab demo of our new Fortinet SOC solution training, strongly based on roles and teams. So the agenda. I will start by sharing my journey, go through a high-level overview of the Fortinet SOC solution training content, and then show Fortinet SOC in action through videos. basically explaining our hands-on lab training in which our participants experience all roles involved in a SOC, simulating a phishing attack, detecting and responding to a specific incident. So I grew up in France, but I'm actually Portuguese. I have an incredible daughter and a puppy that I love more than everything else. My career began with a master's degree in commerce and international relations, leading to 12 fulfilling years in IT and quality assurance. As a QA ambassador, I firmly believe there should be no compromise when it comes to quality, and I apply the same philosophy to cybersecurity. Transitioning from quality assurance to cybersecurity training was a monumental shift for me. It was not just a career change, it was accepting a significant challenge. With no formal background in cybersecurity, I dove into this new field thanks to the inclusiveness of my company. My director, Michael Strickland, and my direct manager, Jonathan Boddy, are extremely supportive. And I owe a great deal, actually, I owe everything I know today to my mentor, Alistair Carter, who is a passionate senior trainer, and he guided me through my first year and still is today. Together, we revamped a training program on security operations and cybersecurity, ensuring it was comprehensible for both technical and non-technical employees. A pivotal moment for me was attending the WiCyS 2024 event in Nashville last April, for which Fortinet was one of the sponsors. Surrounded by inspiring women from around the globe, I felt the power of inclusion and mentoring. These themes resonated deeply with me, reminding me of my own journey and the support I received. Same time last year, while I was at the hospital, I encountered a tragic story reading a magazine. It detailed the first human death caused by a ransomware attack, where a woman's life was lost due to delayed medical care. This article was a catalyst for me, reinforcing the critical importance of cybersecurity education. It became clear that my role as a trainer was not just a job, but a mission to help prevent such tragedies through awareness and education. Through Fortinet's Academy Partner Program, I've had the privilege of conducting workshops at various schools, helping boost cybersecurity awareness among the youth. It's a mission close to my heart, ensuring everyone from students to professionals understands digital threats and how to counter them. As we embark on this journey together, I am reminded of an African proverb that perfectly encapsulates my experience. Alone we go fast, but together we go further. Let's embrace the power of collaboration and learning as we navigate the complexities of cybersecurity, protecting our digital future together. After my transition to the training team, the first project I had to deal with was the revamping of an existing SOC training with, of course, the support of my mentor, Alistair Carter. So you can imagine how impressive and challenging it was for me. However, I was guided by the best mentor ever, so it was okay. So what were the objectives of getting a new SOC training version? So actually, there was a real need for rebuilding it. This training was extremely technical, and we wanted to move towards a more interactive version involving students more by making them experience the daily life of SOC analysts. We also wanted to give some context and make it accessible to anybody, and above all, staff with zero technical knowledge on Fortinet products and industry standard cybersecurity operation procedures. So the main objective of the training was to introduce the basic concepts of security operations and to explain how Fortinet solutions can help in the process of incident handling using Fortinet products while playing the role of different people in a SOC. The training begins with a question, aiming at checking students' knowledge about the main functions of a typical SOC and their awareness regarding a security operations center. Actually, it serves as a preamble to explain the training purpose and set the stage, providing a general overview and some context for the rest of the course. Goal is really to emphasize that a security operations center, a SOC, plays a critical role in an organization's cybersecurity strategy. And throughout the discussion, we foreshadow the fact that the Fortinet SOC solution is really addressing several needs. Then, in a nutshell, what is actually a SOC? A security operations center is a dedicated center that deals with security within an organization. It plays a defensive role, continuously monitoring security events to prevent potential breaches, detecting incidents in real time, and responding to them as quickly as possible. But a SOC is, above all, different collaborators working as a team. It consists of various security professionals, such as analysts, ethical hackers, incident managers, and engineers who work together to detect, analyze, and respond to cybersecurity incidents. To make it simple, a SOC is all about roles and primarily a team effort. In the context of cybersecurity, there are three teams, the red, the blue, and the purple, and each has a well-defined and complementary role and activities. The red team simulates adversaries, the blue team defends against adversaries, the purple team orchestrates, shares knowledge. In other words, the red team tests the organization's defenses, the blue team defends against these tests, as well as against real attacks, and the purple team ensures that both teams work together to improve the organization's security level. And this is actually what we will be experiencing during the hands-on lab of our training. Then we present some of the roles working in a SOC as part of the three teams, such as the security researchers, including the ethical hacker or pen tester, the threat hunter, more an offensive role, and the security analyst or incident responder, dealing with a more defensive and analytic role. And there are a lot of roles. I think we can count up to 15. And here are a few of the products that they can be using from Fortinet. Then we highlight the main challenges faced by the SOC and a critical overview of their daily routine. Here are the most typical ones, including volume and complexity of alerts leading to alert fatigue, which could be really dangerous. Lengthy manual processes leading to slow response times, increasing vulnerabilities. Effective communication and collaboration with stakeholders from different departments. There is a shortage of experts processing the appropriate skills and knowledge on the latest attack techniques and emerging technologies. And nowadays, there are too many tools used to counter cyber threats. So these challenges highlight the dynamic and evolving nature of the cybersecurity landscape and emphasize the importance of adopting advanced technologies, automation, and continuous learning to effectively address them. And this is where Fortinet SOC solution comes in to help SOC analysts face all those challenges and assist them in their daily tasks. Fortinet has developed an advanced cybersecurity solution called FortiSOC, turning SOC more effective. And this solution is here to help organizations detect potential threats and respond to incidents more quickly. It allows for increased visibility and proactivity. What was Fortinet's approach? How does it work? The approach has been to apply AI and automation to accelerate detection and response. Basically, the SOC automation framework is a system for automating SOC tasks. This approach allows to stay ahead of evolving threats, reduce response times, and optimize security operations. Fortinet's automated SOC combines, therefore, all Fortinet's technological products with intelligent automation. And it uses threat intelligence, artificial intelligence, machine learning for centralized visibility and management, streamlining workflows and reducing manual efforts. So let's take the example of a phishing use case. As you can see in the slide, the traditional manual method for identifying malicious indicators, remediating phishing attack, takes approximately 4 hours when done manually. Whereas with FortiSource solution, where incident response is fully automated with playbooks, kind of scripts, running on the backend, the estimated time dramatically decreases to just 2 minutes. Let's move on to the demo. That is basically the Fortinet SOC solution step-by-step lab guide 2-day training, which involves all the roles of security operations from the purple team, the red team, the white hat hacking, to the blue team dealing with the defense and incident resolution. The goal of the demo is really to provide you with an overview of how Fortinet SOC works while playing and interacting with all the SOC roles. We will simulate an attack and go through the whole incident handling process from detection to the analysis and response phase, following NIST, the National Institute Standards and Technology Guidelines. So basically, for those who heard about Mr. Robot, we will perform a Mr. Robot attack using Kali Linux that will install a command and control, show how the attack is detected, and how SOC team responds to the incident using Fortinet products. As this is a topical issue, we will use the healthcare sector as our scenario. We will pretend we are part of a big hospital and that our security team has been informed via a security threat report provided by FortiRecon analyst of a potential phishing attack. What is the threat and what is our goal as SecOps team? The threat: potential breach exposing 1,000 patients' data and putting patients at risk, plus the financial loss. Our goal: prevent our computer systems from breaking down to avoid a disaster. And the attacker is named Group ABC. So we will play all the roles involved in the security operation, part of the 3 specific teams. So here, just for your guidance, here are the main steps. So first, the purple team will analyze the security threat report provided by our security analyst to understand what type of attack and how the attackers, the adversaries, proceeded. To then map this adversary attack using the MITRE ATT&CK Enterprise Model Navigator into our system to get a visual insight of the different phases of the attack. Then the blue team will use our mapping to prepare the defense building, the detection capabilities, identifying the data sources coming from our solutions, FortiMail and FortiSandbox, security event logs, that will be forwarded to our FortiSIEM solution for analysis using some predefined rules. Then the red team will emulate a phishing attack, just like a hacker would do in real world, while the blue team will be checking the predefined detection rules are working as designed and generating the expected incidents. And finally, the blue team will ingest all security incidents from FortiSIEM into FortiSOAR to respond to those incidents using orchestration feature, automated playbooks, and indicators enrichment before closing this incident. Everything starts with the analysis of the received security threat report provided by our collaborators worldwide using FortiRecon product. So basically, FortiRecon is a digital risk prevention service that identifies external attacks and provides security threat reports to help any organizations mitigating risks. Recon stands for reconnaissance, as the process of gathering information about potential vulnerabilities. So this is the very first step and the first role we will be playing, the purple team 1. We will act as a SOC analyst or SOC project manager and orchestrate the whole exercise. So this report describes all the observed tactics, techniques, and procedures, the TTPs, associated with Group ABC activities, and gathers some key elements here in red italic. Okay. So it will then gather all the key elements, and that we will, as the purple team, use to build the mapping of the behavior using the MITRE ATT&CK for enterprise model. So if we look at those highlighted key elements, we can retain that the Group ABC initially probed potential target's email system in search of valid email accounts, most likely based on list of common usernames. Once they confirm valid email addresses on the target organization, it starts a spear phishing campaign against selected users. The specificity of spear phishing email is that they usually contain an attached malicious Microsoft Office macro-enabled file. Then Group ABC tried to leverage potential hierarchy to lure targets into downloading and opening such malicious file. They couple with this email content that conveys a sense of urgency to the email recipient. Then the Group ABC generates a new version of this malicious artifact for each campaign in order to prevent static detection based on file hash, and all include a malware. After execution, the malware will establish a reverse TCP control channel with a command and control server using the malicious domain. After establishing initial access through the spear phishing and malicious file execution, the group uses the dropper to install a VBS script on the target system. This process establishes persistence of the command and control channel, even in case the victim reboots his computer. And after establishing persistence, the group tries to clear the security audits log on the compromised target in order to evade detection. So here, just to show you the entire adversary emulation attack flow that you will see during one of the coming video, we will alternate between playing the role of the attacker and playing the role of the victim that interacts with the malicious email and attachments. The attacking duties are handled by the red team, which aims to use the attack simulation to find holes in the organization's defense. And with the vulnerabilities discovered from the attack, the red team can work with the purple team to share knowledge with the blue team and improve the organization's security posture. Let's get started with our first video, adversary behavior mapping using the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator tool, which is integrated in our SOC solution. So this is the first step and the first role we will be playing, the purple team one. We will act as a SOC analyst here and orchestrate the whole exercise. So how can we use the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator to map and visualize the TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures of a fictional adversary based on a mock threat report in our SOC environment? We will start by mapping the adversary group ABC behavior using the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator tool, a crucial component of our FortiSOC solution. So the MITRE ATT&CK framework is globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics, techniques, and procedures based on real-world observations. This tool helps SOC visualize and plan against potential security threats effectively. Here, we will be mapping the hypothetical behavior of Group ABC using the provided mock threat report we saw. The goal is to translate this behavior into the standardized model provided by the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator. So based on the threat report, we identify the tactic, techniques, procedures used by the Group ABC. This includes tactics like reconnaissance, initial access, execution, persistence, defense evasion, and command and control. As we input these details, we ensure each technique is correctly categorized under the appropriate tactic. For instance, under initial access, we will place phishing and highlight the spear phishing sub-technique to reflect how Group ABC initiates their attack vector. This structured approach not only enhances our understanding, but also improves our preparedness against similar adversary strategies. So we are done with the mapping. We will then save our attack profile matrix and send it to our security operations colleagues. This will provide them with structured insight into the specific adversary group behavior. So here is our attack behavior matrix that we will be sent to the blue team for better visibility inside. Now we will be playing the role of the blue team. We will prepare for our defense and build our detection rules using FortiSIEM our security information and event management solution. Here is a very simple diagram going through the Fortinet SOC workflow. So you can see that the blue team will use FortiSIEM to first collect and identify data from various sources. Then the collected data will be processed to identify potential security threats and anomalies. Then the SOC solution will detect security threats such as malware, phishing attempts, and suspicious network activity using threat intelligence and machine learning algorithms. And when a security threat is detected, the SOC solution will generate alerts and notifications that will be used by the security team. So first, as the blue team, we will have to identify critical data sources in context, analyzing all attack techniques. To do so, we will use the mapping of group ABC behavior sent by the purple team. Here, the team needs to determine the first step of the attack. Looking at the spear phishing attachment sub-technique page, they will review the data sources column under the detection section of the page to see more information about how the applicable data sources can potentially detect this sub-technique. Here we were shown the data sources used to detect the spear phishing TTP. And they will do the same for all the data sources. And here you can see the ones they had identified to detect each tactic, technique, and sub-techniques. So you can see a recap of all the identified data sources for each tactic, technique, and sub-techniques. So we will use the following data sources coming from FortiMail, FortiSandbox, our products, to build detection capabilities for each of the following group ABC TTPs. Next, we will configure the identified data sources to forward all the alert logs to the FortiSIEM solution. So we will start with FortiSandbox and configure the new remote log server with specific parameters. Basically, this configuration instructs FortiSandbox for malicious file analysis to forward not only alert logs, but all other types to FortiSIEM. And then we will do the same for FortiMail. By understanding the traffic and data patterns from our FortiMail and FortiSandbox systems, we can pinpoint potential security breaches, and each data source provides a unique insight that are vital for our next step. Ensuring these sources are correctly configured to communicate with FortiSIEM is crucial for accurate data aggregation and analysis. So here are all the pre-configured data sources showing all log sources, associated tactic, log destination, and used protocol. Excuse me. Here are the three pre-configured detection rules covering specific TTPs, tactic, technique, and procedures of group ABC behavior and their defined action. With our data sources in place, it's time for our blue team to configure FortiSIEM's detection rules to detect and alert when conditions occur that indicate the potential observation of group ABC activity. We use the MITRE ATT&CK framework as a guide to define what constitutes suspicious activity specific to our threat model, which in this case is group ABCs, tactics, and techniques. So here, we are shown three predefined rules handling specific group ABC behaviors or attempts. The first rule reviewed aimed at detecting spear phishing attempts by monitoring emails flagged by FortiMail and attachments analyzed by FortiSandbox. The rule will trigger an alert if an email is marked as spam and contains a malicious attachment, providing early warning of potential threats. Basically, this rule has been configured with the rules, conditions, and action to be triggered by FortiSIEM. For those who are familiar with SQL language, rules are nothing more than SQL queries. Then we will set up a missing rule related to the SMTP enumeration attempt, either from scratch or directly import it as shown in the video. Goal of this rule is to look for events from FortiMail to detect the gather victim identity information email address sub-technique used by the group ABC during the reconnaissance phase. We will navigate to the rules configuration section, create a new rule, and define all the conditions with the filters, the attributes, the operators, and values, and then define the action to be triggered when those conditions will be matching. Like here, we want FortiSIEM to generate an incident. Our FortiSIEM is integrated with the MITRE ATT&CK navigator, showing us a view of all the rules mapping all tactics and techniques that are being covered. And as you can see here, there are loads of rules covered, and the goal would be to reach 0 rule, meaning that our system is not under risk. Setting FortiSIEM with precise detection rules is a proactive step towards a robust cybersecurity. And by continually refining these rules and responding to new threats, our blue team remains a formidable defender against cyber adversaries. Once our rules are configured, testing them is vital. This will be the role of the red team, acting as ethical hacker. We will perform some penetration testing using Kali Linux tool. And in this video, we will explore both offensive and defensive cybersecurity tactics. So let's see how we can simulate a spear phishing attack for an adversary emulation exercise and verify our detection rules matched and generated incidents from this simulation. So we will execute all the attack steps that emulate the group ABC's tactics, techniques, and procedures. We will perform the reconnaissance tactic step to gather victim identity information and get victims' email addresses. Then we will build the malicious file and send the spear phishing email to the end user to initiate the TCP handler to take control. As the victim, we will open the malicious attachment that will initiate a reverse TCP session and establish the command and control channel. Then we will achieve persistence and clear the Windows event log to remove all evidence, here the indicator of run key creation. So simultaneously, the blue team will verify the detection capabilities configured are working properly and generating the expected incidents and indicators. They will be checking if they are actually false or positives. So let's walk through both offensive and defensive cybersecurity tactics. So the first phase, the reconnaissance one. The red team will use Kali Linux commands to perform an SMTP enumeration to confirm valid email accounts. So this phase aims at gathering victim identity information, such as email addresses, by querying the SMTP service for user validation. Through the SMTP user enumeration tool, we collect email addresses that will later be targeted in our spear phishing campaign. So we will see the list of common usernames, and we will use it on the SMTP enumeration to find valid email accounts on the acmcorp.net email server. Then we check how many users are in the list and identify the IP address for the acmcorp.net email server. He's at IP address here. We can see according to the DNS server response, the address is 10.200.2.100. Then we enumerate valid SMTP users on the target email server based on the list of common usernames we have. And here we are expected to be shown 4 email accounts. Sorry. Just waiting for them to appear. Okay. Then we will check the incident generation in FortiSIEM. So we will switch to the blue team role and verify that our first role matched and generated the expected incident. But it might take a few minutes for the incident to appear. So let's carry on the attack emulation, and we will come back later on and check the other incidents have been generated. So let's go back to Kali to craft the attack. So back to our red team role, we will craft a malicious spear phishing email using the Metasploit framework. We will create a Microsoft Word document embedded with a macro that, when opened, initiates a reverse TCP connection to our command and control server. So here, we set the hell host to establish the initial access, and then set the hell port to force the target to use port TCP 443, and set up the listener to handle the reverse TCP session. We will now create the spear phishing email in which you will attach the malicious file using the social engineer toolkit. We will emulate the social engineering aspect by using admin address, acmcorp.net, as the sender. We will create a message that looks like it was sent by the IT administrator and that conveys some sense of urgency to open the attachment, and a penalty to the recipient user if they do not follow the instructions. Your target is student address, acmcorp.net. Okay. Giving a little bit of time. Okay. So then we will check FortiSandbox and FortiSIM. So let's switch to the blue team role and verify that the malicious email has been detected on our FortiSandbox. Okay. So on the dashboard, we can see the malicious file under the scan statistic malicious column. Back to our FortiSIM incident page, we can now check our rules were matched and that both incidents have been generated as expected. At this stage, we can also leverage the MITRE attack mapping dashboard to help us confirming those incidents are false or positive ones. So now phase 3, execution of the attack. Upon sending the spear phishing email, we switch to the perspective of the victim logging into his Windows 7, who receives and opens the email, unknowingly executing the malicious attachment. So this action triggers the macro establishing a temporary command and control channel back to the attacker's server, effectively compromising the victim's machine, and the malicious macro will be then activated. We can verify that the command and control communication channel is established from the exploited host to the Kali VM. Here we can see the session 1 is open and we can start interacting with the established session. Then establishing the persistent phase. To maintain access, the red team implements a persistent mechanism. The red team installs a VBS script to maintain access, modifying Windows registry run keys to auto-start the malware and recontact the command and control server on system reboot. So we switch to the blue team role and verify that our rule was matched and that an incident has been generated as expected. We will check both FortiSIM incident section and the MITRE attack dashboard to help us confirming if this is a false or positive. Once again, it can take few seconds to appear, but here we can see them. So the defense evasion. Simultaneously, to avoid detection, the red team clears Windows event logs using built-in system tools, erasing any trace of unauthorized registry changes. This crucial step helps avoid alerting the blue team prematurely during the simulation. So we will switch back to the blue team role and check our FortiSIM generated the expected incident and validate the effectiveness of the 4 configured detection rules. Looking at our MITRE attack dashboard, we can get details for each generated incident, such as IP address. We will then confirm the persistent and control by going back to the victim Windows 7, closing and not saving the malicious file. We will verify once again our generated incident and dashboard to view more details. Then we will restart the victim computer and we now have full control of the victim Windows 7. Back in our Kali, we can verify that both sessions from the compromised host are closed. We will play the victim role one last time and log in back to our Windows 7 and return to our Khalil session and verify that a new session has been established. And you can even check you are controlling it with the shell, who am I, and the last command. You can check that we are controlling the student computer. So throughout the simulation, as the blue team monitors four alerts generated by FortiSIM, they validate the effectiveness of the configure detection rules by checking whether each phase of the attack triggers the appropriate alerts. This includes alerts for unauthorized access attempts, persistent mechanism, and indicators of defense evasion. Now that we detected all related incidents via FortiSIM solution, we will proceed to the incident response handling step. In the next video, we will see how the blue team responds to an incident using orchestration and playbook automation within FortiSOC solution. Here you can see all the phases coming from the NIST, the National Institute Standard Technology Guidance Framework. We will perform some incident handling activities based on it. If we refer to our SOC workflow diagram, we have reached the incident response investigation phase with the automated playbooks running behind the scene. Here, you will need actually your developer colleague, to help you on the scripting phase. Here are the steps the blue team will go through when handling the incident response phase using FortiSOC. First, we will analyze the alerts and indicators created in FortiSOC via the ingestion of FortiSIM incident generated in the previous video. We will escalate these alerts into FortiSOC incident and work with indicator enrichment and alert indicators relationships in order to confirm this incident. And finally, we will prepare the incident to move into containment, eradication, and recovery phase. As a short note, in the next video, I will be speeding it up in the middle, because the eradication and recovery phases are not, and this is on purpose, automated yet, to give you a view of the complexity of those phases. And thanks to the attack simulation testing we have just gone through, the blue team will be able to automate them for further exercise or real-time attack. So here we have FortiSOC, our security orchestration automation for faster and synergistic response platform, working together with our FortiSIM, aggregating and analyzing log data from a variety of sources, like you saw, allowing for detection and unusual activity or patterns that may indicate a security incident. And in the context of FortiSOC, indicators play a crucial role by assisting in identifying unusual activity or patterns. Let me give you an image. Like in a police department, indicators would be the suspects. Okay. So before proceeding to the next phase in which we will respond to the detected incident, let's quickly review our incident coverage on our MITRE ATT&CK dashboard and the specific ones that have been triggered during our attack emulation: gather victim identity, phishing, boot or logon auto start, and removal of indicators. And also review the 4 incidents that have been generated in FortiSIM. Here they are. Let's get started with the incident handling phase. So as part of the blue team, we will go through the structured response these cybersecurity incidents using FortiSOC, which integrates seamlessly with FortiSIM to enhance our incident detection and response capabilities. Here you can see the UI. So first step is to run a playbook that will ingest the detected incidents from FortiSIM into FortiSOC. This will extract crucial security alerts and trigger specific other playbooks in the background. One such playbook is the extract indicator. So indicators, like we said, are attributes and associated values extracted from a FortiSIM incident. This is exactly the same concept as variables in scripting. So in FortiSOC, playbooks can be considered as a series of automated scripts or steps that are triggered in response to certain types of security incidents. An equivalent to a playbook, like I said previously, could be a script, but here with low code, no code. So we start by confirming the incident. This involves analyzing and reviewing both alerts and indicators generated by FortiSIEM, assessing their severity and understanding their impact on our network. Each alert is scrutinized for unusual patterns, preparing us for a structured response. Once the analysis is done, we escalate these alerts to an incident status, marking the transition from mere detection to active response, so that it goes through further investigation done by other SOC team members. Obviously, there isn't just one person working on this incident. We are all collaborating. So the indicator enrichment phase, in which we will focus on enriching the indicators associated with the incident. So this step involves gathering more data about the indicators, like IP addresses or file hashes from internal and external intelligence sources. We use FortiSource automation capabilities, so here you can see a playbook, to enhance these indicators, providing deeper insight into the threat landscape. Here, we want this playbook we want it to enrich the hash file indicator with its reputation that is for the moment set to not available. With enriched indicators, we create and execute playbooks. Basically, the playbook will, which is an automated script with conditions, if then else, that perform a series of actions such as sending notifications, blocking IPs, or isolating infected systems. Playbooks are crucial as they allow us to respond quickly and effectively, reducing the manual workload on our analysts. So here we will execute a playbook to get the file rating, reputation, of the hash file indicator using the FortiSandbox connector. And once executed, the indicator reputation will be updated from not available to the actual status, which is malicious. We leverage FortiSource playbook automation to orchestrate our response. Watch as we create and deploy playbooks that automate processes such as data enrichment and indicator extraction, drastically reducing the manual workflow and response time. So moving to the containment to the recovery phase. So we're moving to the heart of incident handling. We cover the containment, eradication, and recovery phases, and each step is meticulously executed within FortiSource, ensuring that threats are not only contained but also eradicated from our system. Once we understand the incident, we move to containment. This involves executing specific actions to limit the spread of the threat. For example, we might quarantine, like you saw in one of the display, quarantine the affected systems, block malicious IP addresses, or disable compromised user accounts. So each action is carefully logged and monitored for effectiveness. So here you can see that we're checking what has been quarantined. So we've got one. So those actions are performed directly from the incident page containing all details, the description, the status, the phases, the comments, the alerts, and indicators relationships, overview, etc. And thanks to a dedicated playbook named Disable AD user, we will disable the compromised user account automatically by running it, and execute another playbook to quarantine the IP address using a FortiGate connector. A lot of connectors are part of our solution. Okay. And then we want to quarantine the client using a dedicated playbook connected to our FortiClient EMS, which is the endpoint management server. From the incident page, the indicator section, we select the registry key indicator, and we will run a dedicated playbook to quarantine the user computer host. Okay, so let me just move to, okay, because all those steps are manual. So you see here, we are at the eradication phase. So let me show you quickly. You see here, everything is being done manually. So this is very time consuming, but thanks to the test we're doing with the red team, our blue team will be able to automate everything to the recovery and even to the, sorry, I'm losing, let me just, not easy with my screen, going to the aftermath phase. Okay. So during this recovery phase, the incident status has been set to recovered, and we will move to the aftermath, in which we will document adding all comments related to the incident in case we need it for auditing purposes. As we wrap up, we reflect on the power of FortiSOAR in streamlining incident handling processes. Its integration with FortiSIEM provides a robust defense mechanism, turning insights into actionable intelligence and rapid responses. So here, we are adding all the comments needed. We will be archiving the malicious file, but adding the proof to the incident page. Okay. So as shown through the demo, there are many benefits of leveraging the Fortinet SOC in the network. This solution improves SOC team efficiency for sure and reduces risk to the organization, each by up to 99%. And it's all about automation. So using playbooks, it improves threat detection, the mean time to respond, the incident prioritization, and the infected assets are more quickly isolated, and critical issues are faster escalated. They can improve the staffing throughout. Some perspective on the future of cybersecurity. So we are aware that the threat landscape will continue to evolve. Attackers are becoming more sophisticated using AI, machine learning, and increasingly cunning tactics. So Fortinet Threat Research Laboratories, FortiGuard Labs, predict an explosive increase in cybercrime as a service and ransomware as a service in the dark web. There is a growing demand for cybersecurity professionals, and the field offers enormous career opportunities. It is estimated that there will be 4 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs by 2025. That's incredible. So as a conclusion, to prevent tragedies like this woman dying and strengthen computer security from a general perspective, we all agree that it starts with people and education. Regardless of our title, we all have a role to play in cybersecurity. We need to raise our awareness of cybersecurity at work or at home, to think before we click and fight against phishing attacks. We need to prepare for a disaster and plan for recovery, make backups to restore our system in case we have been compromised by a malicious actor, educate children from a young age, invest in advanced technological solutions to protect IT systems, train and raise awareness among staff of all organizations, and for sure, continuously train cybersecurity experts. This is a slide I like to show, as takeaways to academics, reminding them that computer security depends on researchers and experts, but also on all of us, the users. The strong password, think before you click, the backup, and the system update. So one last short question I would like to ask you. We're reaching the end of the presentation. So what is your biggest takeaway from today's session? If there are any, let me just start the mentees. since I can't check if it's working properly, I will just give you a few seconds. Okay. Fortinet. All right. This is a very, very good product, actually. Could look complicated, but honestly, the UI is very intuitive and it does so much. Oh, thank you. Okay. Shortage of professionals. This is dramatic. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for participating. So I think we have reached the question and answers moment. So let me just move to the questions. Okay, so I'm late in life career change and took the cybersecurity certification course and passed the exam. Okay. At this stage of 60 experience, what are my chances of being considered for a role in cybersecurity? That's a very good question. Maybe I'm not the best person to answer, but I think it's never too late. And congratulations to be willing to move forward. How can we practice this in a hands-on lab from home? So this information is useful, but I'm not sure how I would navigate this on my own. I'm not sure because this hands-on lab has been set up for our trainings, internal and client ones. But I'm quite sure that on internet you could find some ways to do it. What type of training is available for people who do not have an IT background? Honestly, while I was preparing some presentation, for the academic people, I found so many things, so interesting things related to certifications and trainings on YouTube. There is one from Michelle Kartner. You can search on YouTube. This is really good, and they are recognized, so you can go and have a look. So you actually working on Fortinet and EDR. A lot of things to learn. So cybersecurity is not an IT responsibility, but also automation and playbooks are critical to resolving incidents. Yeah, they're definitely time saving. We really need to go faster than the hackers. They're using AI, so automation will be really helpful. When does the class start? Do I do the quiz as... Okay, sorry. In your own experience, is an in-house SOC better than one which an outsourced? Actually, it depends on the organization and the type, the size. It's not the same price, but for me, better in-house, but the outsourced and our products are sold as a service. They are quite good. Sorry if I'm missing some questions, but I'm interested to know more on MITRE-ATT&CK mapping. May I know the product that you have been shared earlier? Okay, so I think you can access the MITRE-ATT&CK navigator in internet. There is, if I'm not wrong, a free trial. How long did it take to transition to your role with your mentors? It was very quick. I joined Fortinet 3 years ago, and I did some QA for a year. So I was really lucky because I worked for the security awareness and training service product, doing some validations, and then moved. So yeah, it took probably 1 year, but yeah, a lot of work, but so enriching. What trainings can a SOC analyst enroll to gain more skills? It depends on the the company the person is working in and the products they are using. Otherwise, on the SOC skills itself, I think the person will have to go through some personal researches, because here in Fortinet, it's more about related products, even if here this training is more solution oriented. So it's quite good for any kind of organization to get this solution to do some onboarding of new employees, for example. How many CPE credits do we get for this? I don't know. Okay, and then actually Fortinet offers free cybersecurity training in our certification program. And we could add the link. I will add the link if I can, but maybe Morgan, maybe you could help me with this one, if we could add the link to the Fortinet program. Okay, so let me just, we will have to nearly close the session. So I would like to thank you for joining us for this exploration of SOC roles. And very special thanks to you, Shelley, Hutchinson, and Melonia de Gama from our marketing division, always so encouraging and supportive, and to Morgan for taking care of all the webinar organization. I hope you enjoyed going through the whole exercise, and hopefully you found it informative and beneficial. Thank you so much for your time.